Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Now we're going to head to that Hood Summit because Robinhood's first ever consumer-focused summit here is underway in Miami. The retail brokerage announced a host of new features, including futures trading and index options. And joining us from Miami is Robinhood Chairman and CEO Vlad Tenev. You know, I understand that you have hundreds of people there and another 2 million people nearly viewing online on your live stream. You are looking to expand your product suite for new customers. I want to point back to just a day ago, Vlad, also. I spoke to Morgan Stanley CEO Ted Pick. He competes with you through their E-Trade business. He said the retail trader is really what's driving this next leg of the market. I'm wondering if you can give me a sense of just how much.
Yeah, well, we've seen definitely retail engagement higher than at levels you would expect given the high interest rates. So interest rates have been elevated, but coming down. But I think what we're seeing is a lot of optimism from the retail community. I mean, we have 800 of our most active customers with us in the conference. And as I was going around and talking to a large portion of them, conversation kept coming back to artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, areas that the American economy is very much leading. And I think that's been a source of all this optimism. Of course, there's been all sorts of problems in the world, geopolitical and otherwise, but I don't think you can deny that in growth sectors like artificial intelligence, financial services, electric vehicles and renewable energy, America continues to lead. And I think that's the source of the optimism that we've been seeing.
It's interesting. You're launching these new products around futures and index options. I'm wondering, when you come down to the retail trader, how much more interest is there from them for these derivative products versus plain vanilla spot trading equities?
I think for a certain type of customer that is much more advanced and sophisticated, these products fill a need. So, for example, index options. When we talk to our most experienced investors, they like the fact that they can take a position on an entire market and a sector, and they like the fact that since these products are cash settled, they can hold them comfortably up until the market close without having to worry about sellouts and other things like that. And for futures, if you remember the 2016 election, the market really moved quite a bit, and futures was basically the only product that was trading at that time. Went from 6% down to 1% up. For customers that want to hedge their risk and trade metals and currencies and broad indices, futures are a great value proposition.
And of course, it's interesting to see this launch with 19 days to go until the U.S. presidential election, and that context as to what happened in 2016 is nice as well. I want to talk and broaden out and talk about Robinhood's business a little bit more, because you're known for running ads, running promos to sort of poach customers from other brokerages. Do you have any metrics that you can share with us about whether or not you've been successful in that endeavor?
Yeah, I mean, I have to be careful about things that are more recent since we are in the quiet period. But in the last earnings call, we did talk about how for 3 quarters in a row, we've been seeing net inflows from all of the incumbent brokers. And actually, as part of the Hood Summit, we announced that we've got multiple of our offers coming simultaneously as part of what we call Hood Week. So that's 1% transfers on brokerage accounts, 2% for customers bringing a margin balance of above $10,000, and 3% for gold customers bringing in retirement accounts. And I think one of the reasons these have resonated is they're uncapped. So you can basically bring in any amount of money, and we would match you these significant amounts on that. So we've even had customers that are pretty close to retirement age, and they have large retirement accounts, and they're bringing their portfolios over to us because the value proposition of getting that 3% instantly is so strong. So we've seen even older customers than what you might consider sort of like a typical Robinhood customer coming in to take advantage of the new tools and the new capabilities that we offer.
I want to talk about maybe an atypical Robinhood customer. I'm not sure. You talk about active traders, and I know you have 2 million people logged into your event. You have a new platform for legendary trading, so very active, I'm guessing, and you've got a desktop platform as well. But do you work at all with institutional or say RIAs? Do you license out your technology to other platforms to use?
We've been getting a lot of requests for that, actually, because the things that we've rolled out for retail consumers over the past year, you can imagine that they're very interesting for institutions as well. For example, we have 24-hour market, which we became the first retail broker in the U.S. to offer 24-hour trading of single name stocks. Now that's expanded to over 1,000 names, including, some of the most popular ones. We have the lowest margin rates in the industry. So these are things that are very useful to retail, but you can imagine, if you're a hedge fund or other institution or a business, you want access to the markets, that's useful to you as well. And if you are a registered investment advisor, as you mentioned, thus far, the focus has been purely on retail. We want to make sure that we're as focused as possible, and we do, frankly, as good of a job as we can on a limited set of things. But I think over time, that's a natural expansion opportunity for us. Institutions care just as much about access to markets and having the lowest possible rates and the best economics.
Vlad, I'm also curious about something you mentioned earlier, this kind of interest in the U.S. election cycle. Certainly, we have seen a lot of single name trades headed up to that election. We have seen DJT whipsaw quite meaningfully along with other Trump trades in recent days. How are users on your platform trading the election by and large, and how are they reflecting it through the options market, including the spot market?
Yeah, I think one of the interesting developments, and this does have to do with futures as well, is the introduction of prediction markets and presidential election contracts that is a recent thing. And I think what customers are really showing is that they need more accurate information, and they're turning to some of these alternative sources, not just as a mechanism to trade and hedge risk, but just as a way to kind of get away from the cloudiness and murkiness of these polls. I think polls have lost a lot of their power and credibility over the past few years. And, some of these alternative markets, people are putting real money on the line. And I think the signal for that is very strong and powerful.
All right, Vlad, we got to leave it there. Really appreciate you taking time. That is Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev joining us from Miami.